Disclaimer: just because we do it doesn't mean you should.
Okay, now we're gonna cut out some L angles. The kit does provide 2 lengths of L angles this long. So this is one of them, and this is what I had left over from the other one. We're not going to be able to make the L angles exactly as specified in the plans due to reality happening. So we're going to have to change it up just a little bit. And one of the reasons why is because I want to make sure that I don't make the L angle so high up here that it will get in the way of this flange on the seat base. That's one reason. Another reason is like right here, they're on the cabin side, the cabin assembly wall side thing. There is a, there's 2 holes for rivets in the L angle, and that's fine. But down here, things get a lot tighter, and so like on the other side, I was only able to put 1 rivet in there. So we'll see how we go on that one. In any case, let's just start making them. Let's get some rough measurements here. So let's say this is, I wish they'd just tell me how long to make them exactly. That would save me a lot of time. But it looks like we're talking about, that's 150 millimeters, but I don't want it that tall. I want it like 130 millimeters or 13 centimeters. So for this one, let's just go ahead and use this. And where do we want it cut? There. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. And let's get our handy dandy Sharpie, and we'll say 13 right there. And then we'll go ahead and label this as this will be, for, let's see, there's only one that's like this, so this will be, forward support. Actually, yeah, there is only going to be one this length, so we don't actually really need to label it at all. I'm going to get my snippy snippers, and we will cut this like so, like that. Cool. And then we'll clean all these up once it's time to clean them up. Except for this one right here, we got to kind of get rid of this little bend almost, so it'll sit nice and flush. That's pretty good. I'll clean that up just a little bit. It's a little easier on my hands when I'm putting this in there. All right, super cool. This particular one is supposed to be supposed to have 4 A5 rivets. Seems like there could be more. That's fine. And then back here they're saying 6 rivets for these ones, which that seems like a lot. So I'm not sure why they say that, but okay. So we'll go ahead and lay out our rivets. Where's my, there we go, there's my good one. There's my good one. And let's see, where's my center liner? It doesn't really matter, but in this case, like the center line isn't that important. But one thing I did do, it doesn't work super great, but it works well enough most of the time, is I just drill a hole in the center of an L angle so I can sort of set my Sharpie right in one spot and get basically a center line. So this here is a up to end. So point. So let's take this, let's put this up against this side piece right here. we go. All right, and let's say we just, oh, and what I like to do usually is I'll put like, let's say, I'll match, and this is kind of tricky because it's like trying to figure out where exactly this wants to sit naturally can be difficult, but we'll do our best here. So let's say we want this to be, want it to be pretty low down. Dang, that's tricky, man. That is tricky. Tricky getting everything to stay together. It's like you gotta have 3 hands all the time. A hole there, a hole there, a hole there, and a hole right there. And I'll drill those, cleco them, and then I'll drill the other ones. Let's keep it in place here. So mark, do a center punch on the holes. Right in the center. If I can. I can have to drill that, yeah. There we go. Drill this hole. It's always the trickiest part, man. I'll tell you what. Let's drill this other hole. Let's get rid of this cleco. Get rid of that cleco. Drill the other hole. And drill this one as well. There we go. That's probably too bad, I guess. Do that side if I can get it in there. And I can't really reach that one, unfortunately. That's decent though, it's better than nothing. So we'll go ahead and drill out the rest of these guys. Trying to figure out where to put that. Right, we're gonna do the other L angles before I have to swap out the bit, otherwise I'll keep going back and forth. So we just need like 3 more L angles. Let's put this guy in here, and this one will be easier to measure. So we can kind of put that there, and say we don't want it to hit the bottom, then we need room for the rivet, but this guy right here, that flange is going to come down, so yeah, I'm kind of thinking probably right about there is where we should have that. Maybe a little bit lower, actually. Really don't want that to get in the way, because if that gets in the way of the flange, I'll have to take it off and all that stuff. So I think that's gonna do it, just like that. Cool. And then let's see. Once we have holes in here, we'll do like a 10 millimeter, 5 millimeter, right there, right there. That's good. There. Okay, and we'll bring it the same. Hello, that was it. Cool. All right. Perfect. And there's a lot of steps. I'm not going to tell them let's do this. Let's do that. And that's going to do 2 marks. Do 2 marks right there. Okay. Shoot. Okay. This going close. So it's spacer. Sure. Mark that one. And this one. There we go. Alright, now it's going to that's it. That was actually hard to do this one. That's it. Sure. This guy. Angle daggers. I'll do that. Let's take a look at it. Use all kinds of options. Getting closer to the edge. That's very helpful. Use it very new. And half. Alright, so this number is also going to be up. Get down. That's actually also stuff. As well. The trick about this stuff. That's true. So there's another L angle. And now we need to make the small ones for this side right here. I think the best thing to do here is actually to mark where they need to be. It's kind of obvious with how it's cut, but basically right there. So right there, and right there. And then on the bottom it's a little bit more tricky because we're looking at like, well, because it actually angles down. So that's the tricky part, is it really has to go at a downward angle from the top. And then we also need to avoid this extrusion down here as well. So that's why I say there's not a whole lot of room there. Let's pull this thing out of here. So the top one needs to be from there to like right there. And then we need, let's cut that. Okay, so put one right there. And then this one, which is, I marked, it's very small actually, it's from right there. So, which, by the way, let me just measure these out for your reference. So the top one looks to be right about 45 millimeters. The bottom one looks like it's going to be about 32 millimeters. Fit here. So right here. It's almost 9 but I got it. Okay, so it's going to go. Make a lot of this so go to this. This side, you can just now, that's why I say it's not really too good. You kind of start to do this. This. Okay. Try, probably. So I'm not using that here. Right there. And mark. There. That's what's doing. So, yeah, so we're going to have some holes here. For this one, we actually want to add holes on one side. We want to add holes on the side that goes into these textures. Which are there, right there. And for this one, so like that. Now we have our two little L angles with holes drilled in here. For this one, holes drilled in just on the side of the seat support, and for this one we will go ahead and drill a hole in here because there is not already a hole in the side of the cabin. So let's do this. I'm just going to go one because I don't feel like there's actually right there. So we want to block this in place. So let's just go ahead here and just play first. Okay, so like that. So use that into covers. So for these guys, they're going to go right here. So as you can see, I think you can see it. So these holes are going to match up right here. So I'm going to mark those there as well. And we want to get this guy, pretty much its natural position should be, you know, correct. That should be the correct spot for it. Make our marks there and there. See where we come out with them. All right, so let's go with that. Shaboom, just like that. Those will end up being A5s, but for now they are A4s. This works, yeah, I think that works pretty well. It holds it in place nicely, so that's actually a little bit easier. We can get our Sharpie, whatever I did with that. Where did I put that? Is it right here? Ah, there it is. Okay, get our Sharpie. Kind of press this up against there, up against the metal to get our marks. Actually, you know what? We could probably just match drill that actually. And then this guy down here, well, let's actually get this clecoed first so that it's not moving around on us. So let's try and match drill this dude right here. which is actually going to be difficult. But if we can get just one of them in, then it will make things a lot easier. I think it was almost easier on the other side because I'm right-handed. Okay, let me get like a... Oh, I know what I need. I know exactly what I need. I just don't know where it is. This piece of foam should be like perfect. Yes, because it will hold this with just a little bit of pressure. It will hold this in place still enough that I can match drill this. There we go. Now, do it. Oh. All right, now it's time to get something like a center line on these two seat supports. It doesn't actually have to be a center line for these purposes, but it does need to be sort of like a reference mark. So let me get my handy dandy right angle. There we go. So what we will do is basically get this guy, and we'll say what looks to be about the center. You know, and basically by this I'm saying, like, you know, where would I be happy with the rivets and other, you know, all the holes being. I think right about there looks just great. Like I said, you could measure this out, you could do this a bunch of different ways, but that's not really the point, is getting the measurement. The point is getting a reference. What matters is that we just draw a straight line, hopefully straight, along here. So if we, let's see here, let me do it like this. This will kind of work. We can get this thing, there we go. Something like a straight line. The edge of the metal like sort of sucks up the ink, and then it sort of smudges it, which is annoying. All right, I can't go much farther than that, but that's decent. Now we'll do the same thing on this side, except actually we have to, because can we do it like that? Yeah, we can do it like that. Okay, sort of do it like that. Oops. Oh, got it. Okay, something like that. And then flip that over. Take it over to this side. Let's go all the way to the edge right there. There we go. Now this side is a bit easier. The other side, not quite so easy. So we could go all the way to the edge. And then what I want to do, the important thing is I'm going to mark the center as best I can right there. So I'm trying to go basically straight up from the center line. If we're off by a millimeter in either direction, it's not a big deal. But I want to get an idea. I'm trying to make a right angle to the angle of the flat section, so perpendicular to where the seat base will be. Now here's a little bit more tricky, because I have to interpolate this a little bit more. So if we can't really get it straight, but if we try and go along this straight line, and then we continue this line a little bit, something like that, that's what we get. Need to extend this line out to about, oh, right about there. It's kind of weird also, to be honest. And I just need some kind of reference. Some kind of reference. There we go. So something like that should be decent. Good enough, good enough. All right, let's see how that works. So the idea here is we have the center line on these the seat supports, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is the ends of the center line so that we can put the seat base in place. And this side is a little easier because we don't have this weird little lip thing on the center console metal. So now we have to, you know, Cleco this in place, make sure all the holes match up, etc., etc. I might need to trim some of this as well. But now we have these lines here. See those lines? So there's a line, there's a line. So now we just have to like match up those lines. And then we should have an idea of where to drill on here. And then we can just drill through everything. That's the idea.